What's up, everyone? So today for session 3 we're going to go over the weather. So we're going to go over weather basics, high and low pressure systems, fronts, what happens when that front comes through, cloud types, and the weather associated with them. So what makes the weather? So the very basics are that wind, pressure, moisture, and the Coriolis effect make the Earth's weather possible. As the Earth rotates, wind is created by differences in density and pressure along the Earth's surface. Density, in terms of weather, is a calculation of temperature and humidity present in the air. So the density of the air determines whether it sinks or rises. Hot, humid air rises, while cool, dry air sinks. Pressure is what causes the wind, and as air moves from a high density to a low density, this creates an equilibrium and creates our wind patterns. If anyone wants to know about the Coriolis effect, I can try to explain it, but even during class, a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their mind around it because it's kind of a really interesting concept to think about, because it's hard to imagine the Earth spinning while all of this is going on, creating our weather systems. And the most basic way I can describe the Coriolis effect is, imagine you're throwing a ball while standing at the North Pole aiming for the equator. The ball would not land straight in front of you due to the Coriolis effect, so it would land slightly to the right because of the Earth's rotation. So that's the very, very basics of the Coriolis effect. But all you really need to know is that hot air rises, cool air sinks, and this creates the pressure systems and the wind. So we can go a little bit more into high and low pressure systems in the northern hemisphere where we live. So in pressure systems in the north and the southern hemisphere, air will move towards the center of a low pressure system from a high pressure system due to air circulation, and the hot humid air becomes cool and dry as it rises. Eventually the cool air sinks, and this will help you understand weather patterns and know when cooler, dry air is coming versus hot, humid air. And besides just looking at your daily newscast, weather forecast, you can also use something that I really like, which is called the Windy app. And this is good because it'll show you not only the high and low pressure systems, but it shows you the direction of the wind and how it's moving. And knowing how high and low pressure systems work, looking at the wind can tell you where those low pressure systems are, because all of that wind will tend to move towards the center of a low pressure system. So these systems are what makes damp and dry air, making the rain and the snow. And so basically global patterns give regions their weather. So where we are up in the northeast, it is rainy and cool for about 2.5 seasons-ish. And in the southwestern US, it's warm and dry. In the southeastern US, it's warm and wet, etc., etc. And yeah, as you can see on this, my poorly drawn hand map, up in Canada, where the jet stream comes through, it is cold and dry, which is what pushes all the snow down into the lower United States. So this can help us predict what kind of weather will come and when. And this kind of stuff will also help you be able to read the weather map. So now we can talk about the clouds. So different clouds have different heights, as you can see on this graph. So the really white fluffy clouds that you can see shapes in are cumulus clouds, and they make pretty good shade but not very much rain. They're not really what I would consider heavy clouds. The next one is cumulonimbus clouds. Those are the really tall anvil shaped clouds. Those bring rain and storms. Nimbostratus are right next to it. They're the dark, usually heavy looking clouds that produce like kind of a heavy feeling atmosphere. It's kind of like when you have those all cloudy days, and those can be heavy rain to intermittent rain. A little higher up you got stratocumulus clouds, which are kind of like cumulus clouds. They're just a little bit more, I guess, wispy. They don't have that nice fluffy outline. They kind of have the same function as cumulus clouds. They kind of provide a little bit of shade, and they usually move kind of fast with the wind. Usually no rain with those. Stratus clouds are also, they look a little heavier, and you can get intermittent rain with those, but most of the time shade, usually no rain. And then all those cirrus clouds and cirrocumulus clouds, they can help you indicate that stormy weather is coming, especially if you see a kind of a rainbow in the sky when you look at cirrus clouds or cirrocumulus clouds at a certain angle. That's because of water droplets in the air mixed with other organic matter like dust, and that can help indicate storms, because storms are when those two things tend to come together. And as you practice looking at these cloud types and going out and, you know, looking at them in person and recording what you see, this will help you keep track of the weather and get better at identifying what type of clouds these are, and when you're going to get rain and when it might be a storm. So, for, like I said, for practice, I would start going out at early morning, midday, and just before sunset, just to observe the sky, write down what you see, and try to identify what kind of clouds you have. Look at the Windy app, see what the wind is doing, what direction it's moving, and with practice, this will help you save on water, because then you'll know when it's going to rain, and you can collect it in a rain barrel, which is going to be another class. But practice makes better. I'm not going to say practice makes perfect, but practice makes better. So yeah.